Jackie and I'm going to show you how to do a bouncy, beautiful blow dry on Agatha. Agatha's got fine hair and I'm going to show you how to get as much bounce and volume as we can. So the hair's all been washed and we are now going to do a fabulous blow dry on Agatha. Right, so we're just getting all the knots out, ready for a fabulous blow dry. There are loads of products out there, but what I like to use, what I always use, is a heat protector. Sometimes mousse on just the crown, but I find less products means a better blow dry. So now we dry the hair to 70 to 80% dry, just to make our work a lot easier. Drying the hair in one direction, smoothing down the cuticles, but also trying to lift up the roots will make for a beautiful blow dry. Keep your hairdryer in the same direction so that the cuticles are flat, but also trying to lift your roots for volume. Moving the hairdryer through the hair, lifting the hair up and drying, but also concentrate on lifting the roots, will make sure your blow dry is fabulous. I section in 5, as you will see, and then subsection from those 5. So we start off in the front, making sure that the hair in each section is tight so the brush doesn't catch on it later. Just making sure that the front section is no wider than your brush. And now moving on to the side sections, keeping the section lines clean and straight. Do both sides and then secure. And remember, the side section should be no bigger than the width of your brush. In fact, none of your sections should be bigger than the width of your brush. Now on to the back, sectioning down the back with a clean straight line. You've got your 2 sections at the back, clip one away, ready to subsection your first for blow dry. And check the width of your section with your brush. And now you're ready to start subsectioning each section. We've measured the brush, we've measured the section, now we're going to section off the hair in subsections to start blow drying. Making sure that your sections are clean, combing them through and tying them back tight so you don't catch them with the brush whilst blow drying. So starting at the roots and ensuring that the roots are dry, and then working down the mid-lengths and ends of the hair, constantly using your brush and hairdryer, never stopping so as to burn the hair, and constantly working, wrapping the hair round to create a beautiful bounce. Taking the brush gently out of the hair, twisting and unwinding. This is called ribboning, but never pulling the hair straight out of the brush, as you will undo all the work that you've created with the blow dry. Smooth the hair around your fingers into a barrel curl whilst it's still warm. This creates the set. Secure it in place and go to your next section. Create your next section and clip the rest of the hair away, starting to blow dry again, building on the roots, making sure the length and ends are smooth as you start to wrap the hair around the brush to create a beautiful bouncy curl. As you blow dry, try and lift the hair so as to get as much root lift as possible. Moving the hair at all times with the brush and the dryer, never leaving your dryer just sitting on the hair as it will burn it, and to keep moving and to create as much height for root lift as possible. Smoothing the hair and keeping your nozzle towards you will ensure that your hair won't become tangled. As you're working the hair down the mid-length and ends, start wrapping the hair around the brush, creating the curl. Having little bursts of heat onto the hair as you unwrap it will ensure that it will stay. Tap the blow dry gently onto the hair as you unravel to ensure some extra setting, never holding it in place for too long so as not to burn the hair. Tap tap with the hairdryer and keeping those roots nice and high for root lift. Always unwinding the hair, never pulling it out of the brush. Keep going over the hair until it's completely dry and has got as much bounce as you want. I'm not using the cool shot in this tutorial as I want to keep the heat in the hair as I create a barrel curl. Smoothing out your hair and wrapping it round your fingers before you secure it in place. And now on to the third section. I'm using quite big sections as my brush is big. If you want to get a tighter curl and you're using a smaller brush, make sure that your sections are smaller. Now we're getting close to the crown, we're lifting as high as we can and getting as much volume. Lifting and stroking with the brush and the hairdryer and creating as much root lift as possible. Wrapping the hair, as this section is quite long, and keeping the hair all in the brush and wrapping it round and creating root lift. And this will also give you curl at the end. Also smoothing all those cuticles as you go through the hair. Wrapping and creating curl on the ends to finally do some tapping to get some more heat in will ensure a beautiful bouncy blow dry. Tap tap through the hair and finally getting that last blast of heat on the roots. Smoothing the hair around your fingers whilst it's hot and clipping it straight will ensure a beautiful bounce. And now onto the other side, sectioning the hair into 3, getting each section ready so that you can do it all again on this side. Lifting those roots and smoothing down the length and ends, ready to curl round the brush. Keep the hairdryer and the brush moving at all times, never allowing the heat to stay in one place. Wrapping that hair round the brush first can help you on long hair. Keep the brush moving, tapping in some final heat and unwrapping the hair. Pulling the hair back underneath again, making sure the hair is completely dry. Back on top and wrapping it round your fingers whilst it's warm and clipping it straight in will ensure it to be bouncy and beautiful. On to our next section. Repeating what we did on the other side, keeping all our lines clean and clear. You can see I'm using my section clip, but if you find it easier, use your tail comb, keeping your section lines really straight and clean. Back under the root to get the lift again. Long sweeps through the hair, all in one direction, keeping control of the hair. If you find it easier while you're learning, you could always use smaller sections of hair. Sweeping the brush over the roots, unwinding the hair, back under again. You can do this several times until you know that there is enough curl there and it's completely dry to pin in. Get the pin in quite quickly as the heat is still in there and it will set better. Wrapping it round your fingers smoothly and pinning it quite close to the scalp. On to the next section. Working your brush all the way through the hair, ensuring that all sides of the hair are dry. This is near the crown now, so we want it nice and high. Wrapping the hair around the brush as it's so long will help you not get into a tangle. Sweeping on those roots not to burn the scalp. Back under for as much root lift as possible. You can see I'm working from all different sides to ensure dryness. You can see I'm working on all different sides to ensure that it's dry and so to create movement for the hair. And now onto the side sections. Not creating as much root lift on the sides, but ensuring that the bounce is still there. Keep working your brush and your dryer along the shaft of the hair and allowing it to dry and create some curl. Working the dryer down the cuticle and drying the hair smooth will ensure the hair looks bouncy. Working from all angles of the hair will make sure it's completely dry. Tap tap on the length and ends as you work the brush out of the hair. Pin in place and move on to your next section. A little bit more root lift as we're higher up the head. Keep the brush moving and dry the hair. Long sweeps so as to get the hair nice and smooth, wrapping the hair around the brush and creating bounce. Keep moving your brush through the hair, never leaving your brush and your dryer in one place, making sure that you've got some root lift, wrapping the hair around the brush so that it doesn't tangle, and getting some heat with some taps will ensure that your set will stay. Keep your brush moving and keep twisting your brush around the hair, as this will help glide through the hair. Unwind gently and clip in quickly. Smooth the hair, wrap it round your fingers, clip it in and go to your next section. I'm moving on to the other side and I'm using a smaller brush this time just to show you a tighter curl. On the sides you will have some layers that might fall out. Just let them fall out and go back to them. Otherwise your brush will get into a tangle trying to pick them back up. Just take your time around this section as sometimes it's trickier. Keep your brush moving, not too much root lift. Ensuring that all the sides are dry. If that little bit falls out, let it fall and come back to it. All sections are dry. Wrapping the hair around the brush. Doing your length and ends. Rolling it back up. Slight taps of heat to ensure that the hair sets, and then unwind gently. Go back to that bit and making sure that it's wrapped round and in with the rest of the hair, ready to clip in. Smoothing the hair around your fingers to secure. And on to the next section. Drying those roots, lifting up those roots because we're on a slightly higher section. Tapping through the roots so not to burn the head. Getting as much root lift as you want. Wrapping the hair around the brush. If there are any little layers, we'll keep it secure. Nice root lift. Nice long sweeps of heat. Get those last ends in. Wrap and roll and take the hair out gently. Secure all the sections together whilst warm and pin. And now onto the crown section. Getting all that root lift on the crown section, keeping the dryer moving, sweeping the dryer, and long sweeps of heat to ensure that the hair is dry. Going all different directions to make sure everything's dry, and also for movement. Long sweeps, nice long sweeps, lots of lift. Keep the hair wrapped around the brush, twist and tap, and unwinding the hair gently. You might have to do this a couple of times to make sure that you've got bounce. Again, if you're using a smaller brush, use smaller sections. Now on to the last two sections. Still doing what we've been doing, drying all sections of hair around the perimeter. Drying the hair all the way around the section. Long sweeps with the hairdryer, creating bounce and body. Tapping the hair to allow a little bit more heat in. Ready to unwind and ribbon out the hair. Getting it back into the section. Putting it into a barrel curl with the heat still there will give you loads of bounce and body. Making sure your clip stays quite tight to the roots will mean that it will stay there. So we've used these three brushes, smallest brush for the last section. So we're on the last section, making sure we over direct it forward so as still to get some root lift. Smoothing the brush along the hair and unwinding gently a few times until it's completely dry. Going over the section in the front, as the front can be quite dry. Doing a few extra sweeps in the front as we want this section to look particularly fabulous. Wind your last section up ensuring that the ends are nice and tight in so they don't frizz. Securing your clip and done. Allow the hair to cool and give it a little bit of time to set. So we're just taking out from bottom up, starting at the bottom, working our way up. Getting some movement in the hair, putting your fingers through it. A little bit of piecey work, a little bit of zhuzh on the roots. Do you wear it over this way? Yeah. Always go against to get a little bit of height. And less is more, because you'd just be pulling all the curls out. Stunning, beautiful blow dry. Tiny little bit of spray, nothing else.